In the last video, we got an overview of fastText library. In this video, we are going to do text classification using fastText, and the dataset that we have is e-commerce dataset where you have a category of the item. For example, Apple iPhone is electronic, and the description of the item. You also have household and couple of other categories, okay? And I got this data set from Kaggle. So thanks Kaggle for providing this data set. I will now load this particular CSV file into my pandas data frame, and it looks something like this. Now, when you do category exploration, so you can just say category dot, maybe let's do value counts. You'll find we have total 4 categories. Each category has these many items. Dataset is not very heavily imbalanced, so I won't worry about the imbalance, etc. However, I will check if there are any NA values. So I would just go ahead and just drop any values, any NA values, and then we'll see. So initially we have 50,425 samples. When I drop NA values, luckily I found only one NA value. Now we understood that there are total 4 categories. I will do some pre-processing and change this category name so that there is no space. And I will tell you the reason why I'm doing that. But let me do that first right now. So if you want to, let's say, replace the space with underscore, how do you do that? So you will take this one and you will call replace function on pandas series, where you will say, I want to replace this particular category with underscore clothing. Okay. And you have to do in place. So in place is equal to true. And then you can do value counts or you can do unique also. Okay, so now none of my categories have spaces. I'm doing this because the file that we are going to generate for fastText for text classification, we need to supply label in a specific format. I will show you in a minute. Now, the label that it expects. So this is just a convention, okay? This is how fastText works. fastText, whenever you're doing text classification, it expects your file to be in this format. So this is your text basically. And for text classification, whatever label you're providing, it is here. If you have multiple labels, you can do something like this. Okay. This is the format that fastText expects. I mean, there is no reason behind why it is so. It's just how Facebook guys designed this fastText library. You can also customize this label prefix, but let's not worry about that. So if you want to get a household as label underscore household, of course, whatever category you have in your data frame, you have to first prefix the label. Okay. So let me prefix the label. And how do you do that? Well, so you will say df category is equal to label. You want to put it as a prefix, and then df category. So in pandas, there is this method called as type str. So I think if you don't type it as str, it should work. But just to be on safe side, let me do this. And see, now my category has a label as a prefix. See, from this data frame, you want to generate a file which looks like this, where every line has one item description and there are labels. So how would you do that? Well, one way is you can create a single column in data frame which has all of this information, and then export that particular column to a text file. So that's what I will do. I will just merge category and description column, and I will call it category underscore description, and that is equal to df category plus df description. Okay, nice. So now my category description is nothing but I merged two columns and created the third column. Okay, now when I look at any item in this one, say I see some punctuation like comma, dot, etc., and it is recommended that you do some pre-processing and remove the punctuation, maybe convert everything to a smaller case, things like that. So I will do some pre-processing on this particular column so that all punctuation marks, everything goes away. Okay, so let's do that using regular expression. We have looked at regular expressions before as well, and I'm going to take a sample text. Okay, so let's say my sample text is this, and I want to get rid of, all the punctuation. Basically, I want to get, see, this is the sentence I want to get, where everything is converted to small case, the underscore, all these special characters are removed, and yeah, there are no extra white spaces too. So how do you do this? In the last video, we covered this a little bit, but I will do it once again. And always, whenever I am writing regular expression, I use regex101.com. It is an amazing website. So you can write your pattern here, test string here. Okay, so let's do this. Now, how do you detect all these spatial symbols? So we saw in the last video that any white space character is given by /s, and any word character is given by /word. So anything that is not a word or a white space character, you want to replace that with space. And the way you do that is, see, when you say this means anything that is white space. White space means spaces, tabs, things like that. See, if you have tab, for example, here, if I put tab, anyways, if you put tab, etc., it will be detected. See, it is showing matches. See, it is matching all those characters. Then if you do this one, anything that is not a word, which will mean, okay, if I do this, I think that is also working. But just to be on a safe side, I will do this, both of this. So see, any character, any spatial characters, it is matching. Dot, question mark, quote, everything. So it is matching all of that. So if you remove that, that's gonna be super useful. So let's do that. Here, I will just say re.sub. Sub means any characters which are matching that regular expression, just substitute them with something. Okay, so my regular expression is this. I have a feeling even if you don't use /s, it's still gonna work. I put /quote because I don't want to remove this wikis. See, here, see, this is matching, right? But if I do /this, then it will not match. I think /this, yes, /this will not match. It was just highlighted, but see, it is not highlighted, so it is not matching now. So substitute all of this with one space, okay, in the text. So now what you get is this. All these spatial characters are removed. Okay, once again, we're trying to pre-process the text so that our fast text model can train properly. And in that attempt, we are using regular expression to remove all the punctuation and spatial characters. I'm getting multiple spaces here. I want just one space. So if you want to substitute like some multiple spaces with one space, how do you do that? Let's figure that out. Okay, so let's say I have this sentence, right? I have multiple spaces here. I want to substitute this with a single space, for example. Okay, let me keep the whole thing very simple. The way you do that is you'll say space plus. So whenever you use space plus, plus is what? Let's see. So plus here is one or more of that character. So what is my character? Space. One or more of spaces match that. So in the matching information, I found all that, right? So I will now use that and I will just say substitute anything that is a space repeated more than one time. Substitute that with a one space. And I need to capture this into text dot. When you do strip, it will remove the leading spaces. A leading spaces, you see, these spaces it will remove. And when you do dot lower, it will make it lowercase. See, now this looks like what we were expecting it to be. And I will put the whole thing into a function called preprocess, because I will be calling this function on my entire pandas data frames column. My function is ready. Let me just test it quickly. So I will call it preprocess. And it works as expected. Okay, now I want to call this function on the entire category description column, right? On the entire pandas data frame column, I want to call preprocess function. And the way you do that is by calling map, or you can even use apply too. So when you do this, it's gonna take some time, and then it will give you the post-processed category description column. So if you look at everything that is here, it is nice and clean. Okay, household paper. I'm seeing some problem where, see, after household, there is no space. And that happened because when I was doing this thing here, I did not put a space. So I need to put a space actually. See, if I have space, then it looks something like this. And Control Enter to execute this. Okay, now it looks good. See, after household, there is a space. Okay, now I want to start training. So you'll have to do train test split. So in sklearn, we have used this function in our machine learning tutorial so many times. So you are going to do a split between train and test. And I will use 20% test sample and then 80% train sample. Okay, so what you get is, see, train.shape, test.shape. So we had something like 50,000 something, right? Out of that, 80% is 40,000 and 20% is 10,000. And both of this train and test are nothing but they are individual data frames. See, they are data frames with different labels, different samples. If you look at test, that is also, hopefully we have equal distribution of categories here. Now, the way fastText works is, see, you will do import fastText, and in fastText you can call train supervised. So train supervised function expects a file, a text file, which is in this format. So how do you generate the training file in this format? Well, we have train data frame. Okay. So from train data frame, we can say train.toCSV. Okay. And I will give that file name as ecommerce.train. Okay. And in the columns, I need just one column, category description. So I will put category description column here. And also I will say index is equal to false, because I don't want index to be present, and there is no header as well. So I will say this is equal to false, and I will do the same thing for the taste also. And when you execute this, if you notice your current directory where you have this notebook, you will see these two files, train and taste. And when you open this, let's say, let me open taste. You see? So you have a label and you have the item name. So this is book, clothing. See, this is clothing. This is household item and so on. And now I can use this train file to train my fastText classification model. So in the previous video, we used train unsupervised, which was used to generate word embeddings, whereas this method is used to do classification. So it is using fastText to create the word embeddings, and then it will use those word embeddings to do the classification. Okay, so I will do model is this, and then once model is trained, see, when you do this, it will train the model, and you can taste the model as well, taste just to check the performance, and you will taste the model performance on ecommerce.taste. Now see, this is the size of my taste samples. This is my precision. This is my recall. If you don't know about precision recall, you can watch my video. Go to YouTube, Core Basics Precision Recall. You get an idea. But precision here, 96% means out of 100 prediction, it got almost 96 prediction correct, which is pretty good. So let's do some prediction on some items. So it's pretty straightforward. I like fastText API interface, by the way. It's so simple, right? So model.predict, you give the name of the item. Let's say I give this name. Okay, tell me, just by reading it, tell me which category it is going to predict. We have household, electronic, books, and clothing and accessory. What will it be? Obviously electronics, right? Desktop, PC, see? Looks like electronic. Then let me predict something else. I have read this book, by the way, Think and Grow Rich. It is book. And then you have, I just got this sample from my taste data set. What is this? Cotton, shirt, fabric, obviously clothing and accessory. Okay. So just to summarize, we train fastText model by executing this line, and it built a model which can do text classification, but at the same time, the model has word embeddings. So you can use those word embeddings. You can do things like, okay, my model dot get nearest neighbors. Okay, I need to do this. So I will do get nearest neighbor for the word Sony. Right, so see, Sony, it will do, okay, tripod, closely, Mac, keyboard, connectivity. It's sometimes hard to kind of predict what it is giving you. Let me do some other word, painting, floor, primer, decorative. See, it got all these words from the training that we did. All right, all the code is in the video description below, by the way. So make sure you practice it. Without practice, you are not going to learn it. So whenever you are watching my video, please make sure you are doing coding practice. Otherwise, you're wasting your time. You better go take a nap. If you like this video, by the way, share it with your friends. If you're liking this series so far, I'm putting a lot of hard work, folks. So the way you can pay back is subscribe to my channel. I mean, if the subscription count goes up, of course, that makes me happy. And also share this particular playlist on LinkedIn with your friends. So when you share something on LinkedIn, it will spread the word about this playlist. And I'm trying to make the best kind of very good quality playlist on NLP with exercises and everything. I'm gonna most likely put an exercise for this. It will be available later. Sometimes as of recording the video, I don't have exercise ready, but I add those exercises later. So always check video description. All right. Thank you.